There's a story today that came to me quite late. I didn't know too much about it, but it has, I imagine this might be a conversation for the next few days. The government has come out with a curriculum change, and there's lots of words being spoken here that make it seem like, oh, this is just something nice. This is something a bit different, And then, of course, we have our insider in the government, whose name is David Seymour, who always says the quiet part out loud and confirms exactly what this is all about. We'll get to that in a minute.
The government has released the full draft of the curriculum for years 0 to 10 students, with Education Minister Erica Stanford calling it another significant step towards delivering a world-class system. But the changes have prompted widespread criticism, with maths and social science experts, arts specialists and PE teachers all raising serious concerns.
It's quite a broad
spectrum. No.
It's quite a broad spectrum of everybody.
Can I just say, PE teachers, get in there.
Yep. PE teachers, get in there in your Reeboks with your ankle socks and get into it. That's what I would say.
Who were originally involved in the rewrite say they don't recognise what has been released despite their names being attached to it. And some say they were shut out of the process after signing NDAs. Senior correspondent Lisette Raymer reports.
The bell rings and a 7-year-old would be sitting down for lessons on the civilization of ancient Egypt.
Yeah, this is it, right? So imagine they're going to add all these new things in, Chewie, and not to bury the lead, guess what they're getting rid of in New Zealand? Guess what's disappearing from all over the place?
Our own history?
Maybe. Well, listen,
Nile Valley, the Bronze Age civilization, and...
Can I say, it all sounds really interesting. Like, honestly, the subject matter that they're talking about is really interesting, but in New Zealand, at 7 years old, what's better to learn about? Egypt and the pharaohs, or our own history, the history of the land that they're in? And it's not that they're adding to, it's that they're eliminating the Te Reo Māori aspect of it. So, sorry, I've kind of given away. There was a present at the end that I'm sure everyone already knew, and I've already given it away.
The Iron Age. By year 5, they'd be learning about the Chinese dynasties. By year 8, they'd be across European imperial expansion.
It is a curriculum of the 1950s, Chewie. It is actually what it is. So finally, Luxon is right that they're getting New Zealand back. Just stopping it there. It's just back. That's way back, like 75 years back.
I have heard that the sun never sets on the British Empire. Have you heard that, Pat?
Yeah, let's go.
Head spinning, you're not the only one.
The number of hours that students will be getting and teachers will be getting to learn this stuff, I'm not sure how any students or any teachers are going to fit this into their year's learning.
History specialists, the latest to sound the alarm over the new curriculum.
Hey, Snuffles, good name by the way, you wait. They give some examples of what 5-year-olds are going to be learning. You wait.
Interesting topics seem to have been chosen, but overall the driving force of this seems to be a chronological narrative which ignores so many of the complexities of our history and global history.
Erica Stanford's classroom refresh, failing to win favour with many who spend their days there.
We're expecting our year 1 children, so that's our 5-year-olds, to know that Theophratus, circa 371 to 287 BC, described plant forms and structures, and his botanical texts were used for centuries as primary references.
What the fuck?
Have they met a 5-year-old?
This lady, and I'm going to go back to give her due credit, she has the best comedic timing of anyone I've almost ever said. Back in the 90s, there was the not jokes. I'm feeling really good. Not.
Oh, yeah.
This woman's timing, if we need to get to the end, is impeccable.
Described plant forms and structures, and his botanical texts were used for centuries as primary references. Have they met a 5-year-old?
It's good timing. It is good timing. So we'll keep going.
This, if you're wondering, fits under the science umbrella.
Our 5-year-olds need to be exploring, they need to be playing, they need to be interacting with science. I'm not sure that Theophrastes is going to be high on our list of priorities.
It's not just a lot for students to learn, but also the primary school teachers who will now have to teach it.
It's impossible. It's unfair. Unless this process is paused, we're going to end up with an absolute disaster.
Already, in open letters to the government, the arts associations of dance, drama, music and visual arts have said they feel blindsided. Maths experts have expressed deep concern over damaging changes.
Maths.
And Physical Education New Zealand has also written to express its shock.
It's mind-blowing, Lizette, absolutely mind-blowing.
Dr. Susie Smith was part of the initial writing group recruited to look at New Zealand's PE curriculum.
Somewhere along the line, we're not sure, but somewhere along the line, we've been just shut out, I think. It feels like that. We cannot see our voice in this, and we cannot see our advice and guidance. People have been in this document that do not understand our subject area.
For example, all Year 8 students would have strict learning guidelines around athletics.
Which requires...
And for us old people, that's Form 2, right? So all Form 2 students, Year 8.
Thank you, Pat.
Fartlek training and baton exchange and relay. Now, this is archaic. We haven't taught explicitly around athletics for years. I'm not saying athletics is a bad context, but I have an 11-year-old son, and trying to get my 11-year-old son to understand fartlek training is just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
When her advisory contract ended, she signed a non-disclosure agreement. Now she finds herself listed on the government's website as a contributor to a curriculum she doesn't recognise or believe in.
Many people haven't been able to talk to one another in this process, which has been frustrating, but it also has meant that now we have a very messy and incomplete and incorrect curriculum document.
You can't call consultation when the people on your advisory panels have non-disclosure agreements. That's not consultation.
The draft is now open for 6 months of consultation for feedback from teachers, principals and educators. The Education Minister can expect a torrent of it.
We're incredulous.
How much more feedback does the government need?
Well, a short...
So goes on to an interview, which I've actually already pulled up in another thing, and at 3 minutes 13, hopefully this hasn't been removed, she asked about the NDA. So let's just get the questions around the NDA, specifically why these advisors, because what the doctor was saying, Dr. Susie was saying is, if you've signed an NDA, how do you speak with the other experts who are contributing to the document during the process? So this was the question from Sam Hayes about the NDA.
Minister, why have the contributors that were involved with the rewriting of the curriculum been asked to sign non-disclosure agreements? Some of them are saying that it feels like an abuse of power.
No, it's just standard. I mean, the previous government did exactly the same thing, and I can see why they did it.
No, we're hearing that they haven't been asked to sign NDAs before. And it just seems interesting because I don't understand why any of this process about educating the country's children should be top secret.
Well, you will remember under the previous government, the science curriculum got leaked, for example, and it was an absolute debacle.
So she just goes on to basically saying that doesn't answer the question, and is being told that because in the previous government something was leaked, apparently an NDA would be the thing to protect that. Lord knows how, but that's the thing. So there you go. There you go, Chewie. That's where we're at tonight. And as I said, there's words and you can debate it and you can get around the table. What are they talking about? And then I now am starting to believe that David Seymour is actually a secret activist for the left, because he just comes out and he says the quiet part out loud. Wonderful news today. The highly politicised Aotearoa New Zealand History curriculum has been fixed. The Marxist big ideas, such as Māori history is the foundational and continuous story of Aotearoa New Zealand, and the course of Aotearoa New Zealand histories has been shaped by the use of power, are gone. In their place is a new balanced history curriculum, balanced as in all those stories about Egypt, in line with the ACT coalition commitment to restore balance to the Aotearoa New Zealand histories curriculum. Children will learn where they're from, meaning colonised history. That's exactly what he's saying. but also that our history is a part of a wider human story. That story is older than our country and continues alongside us today. Best of all, the ERO review of the history curriculum found this is what children want. They want to learn new and interesting things that aren't familiar to expand their minds. And I'm so proud our government has rejected the social engineering approach to deliver it.
God.
Now, what's happened, just so you know, and I've got no one's leaked this to me, but I'll tell you what's happened. I'm pretty sure of it. Kids have been polled and asked if they want to learn new and interesting things. And they've gone, yes, of course.
No,
And then the government has decided what those things are. If you said to those same kids, do you want to learn about the Tudors, or do you want to learn about a historical Māori figure in New Zealand? I suspect most of them would lean towards a Māori figure than the Tudors. So I doubt they've been asked specifics. They've been asked more generalised questions. But there you go, Chewie. As I say, thank you, David Seymour, for saying the quiet bit out loud. We all knew it, but you confirmed it, and you made it very clear that this is ACT's fingerprints all over it about getting rid of Māoridom away from our schools as quickly as possible. Sir.
Just fucking stinks. Stinks to high heaven of Atlas. This, wouldn't you think the foundation, the place that you want to start with from an educational point of view with your kids this is the story of the place where you live. Like, I would think that is your foundation. And then, like, asking a kid to have a concept of how long ago 3,000 or 4,000 years is. Like, as an adult, that blew my mind. I went to Crete in 2015 and walked around their museum of the Minoan culture and just how spectacularly old that is. It's a weird place to say, kids under 12, we're just going to start at the very start, and we're going to go through what seems to me a very European-centric way of learning the important parts of history. You know, and the important parts of history are the Egyptians and the Greeks and the European culture, and then I guess the Europeans found China. So let's talk about China for a little bit. And then at some point, maybe we'll get around to the place where we live. Like, we're definitely not going to have Māori history. We're definitely not going to have European colonial history in this country. We're not going to include the language. We're not going to include the mythology. We're not going to include the social conversations about how, say, the indigenous people of New Zealand did things before Europeans arrived. There would be too much benefit from that. For Seymour to call it Marxist, I want to go, have you read Marx?
Yeah. It's a great question. Great question. This is the thing, these people that use these labels. Mr. Seymour, could you explain to me Marxism as you understand it?
How is history Marxist, you twat? Because
you know
Marx just wrote about people working in factories and how it was shit and it could be better. Like, I'm all for teaching that to children.
They have made a pretty big error, though. And you can see that they haven't looked into this, because as soon as they do look into this, some of their more conservative Christian followers aren't going to be happy. Because when those 5-year-olds are learning about Theophrastus and find out that he's a native of Lesbos, I think that's going to go against everything they believe, because the word Lesbos is going to be an extreme to any of the Christian conservatives. That'll be thrown out very, very quickly. There is actually one other thing I wanted to mention, though, as well, Chewie. This whole new curriculum, yeah? But remember, this government has the hour-a-day initiative for schools. Your child will spend on average 1 hour of each day on reading, 1 hour on writing, and 1 hour on maths. And we've done this before. 9 till 3 is 6 hours. Take out an hour and a half for breaks, you're at 4.5 hours. Easily take out half an hour for things like rolls and putting chairs up and there. So you're at 4 hours. So according to this government, there's 4 hours a day of teaching time, of which 3 has to be filled up with the reading, writing, and arithmetic. All of these new things coming in are going to have to fit into the last hour of the day. That doesn't include PE. That doesn't include assemblies at school. That doesn't include music. That doesn't include any of those other things. 1 hour a day is what they fill in. So at the start of their term, they brought this stuff in, minimum hour a day. Halfway through that term, they seem to be bringing in more policy and more curriculum ideas that will make this first policy a near impossibility to actually do. So where are they? And where are we with this whole thing? Madness.